This morning's general session of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners for August 25th, 2020, with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Boyce.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Would also, as a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being recorded, so we kindly ask that everyone maintain the same level of decorum as if the meeting was in person. Finally, for those of you that are calling in, please remember to mute your phone using the *6 method so that we can have some semblance of peace while we're on the call. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes for February 26th, 2020 general session, the August 12th, 2020 administrative briefing on remote learning, the August 2020 briefing session, and the August 17, 19, and 21 administrative briefings.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
And we already have one against Dean this morning. Commissioner Boyce, thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes. You know he keeps a chart at home, right?
I have a feeling he's keeping score. Yes, sir. So have been approved. Thank you.
We'll begin this morning with Court of Common Pleas. Good morning, folks.
Resolution number 563-20. Resolution authorizing a supplemental appropriation within the Common Pleas Capital Fund for the purchase of audio and video equipment.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Pfeiffer, IT Director with the Court of Common Pleas.
And Kimberly Canada, Director of Finance for the Common Pleas Court.
This resolution appropriates funding which will be used to upgrade AV equipment, including evidence presentation, audio-video recording, and video conferencing systems in courtrooms 2A and 2B in the Common Pleas Courthouse. These rooms are used for video arraignment, duty matters, and special proceedings. Most of the equipment which the new systems will be replacing is original to the building, which was installed in 2010. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 563-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 563-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Excuse me, the auditor.
Resolution number 564-20. Resolution authorizing a 5-year supplemental contract with IT Federal Sales, LLC to provide updates to countywide street-level property images in the amount of $2,509,053.60.
Good morning, Commissioners Boyce, O'Grady, and Brown. My name is P.R. Casey. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff and General Counsel for Franklin County Auditor Michael Stenziano. Our resolution this morning authorizes a 5-year contract with IT Federal Sales, LLC, to update the county's street-level imagery. The contract authorizes 2 separate image capture drives of nearly 400,000 improved parcels throughout the county. In terms of miles driven, to give you some context, that's over 8,052 miles. If you drove across the county on I-80 from New Jersey to San Francisco and then drove all the way back, you'd still be over 2,000 miles short of the drivable distance to map out Franklin County. So this is a big project to undertake. The last time the county had these street level images taken was in 2017 by Cyclomedia Technologies, which was a very successful drive. And we've used the approved GSA federal government schedules to partner with Cyclomedia through IT Federal Sales to again take these images. The first capture will occur this fall in 2020, and the second capture is scheduled for fall of 2023. These images are crucial to both the appraisal and GIS functions of the auditor's office. Updated photos are a very useful appraisal tool, especially when tracked over time, allowing appraisers to readily identify construction and demolitions that may affect a parcel's taxable value. Additionally, the images are taken with a highly accurate LiDAR system that produces scientifically accurate measurements of the dimensions of each structure and parcel and can integrate with other image captures in the county's state-of-the-art GIS mapping system to create a complete 360-degree panoramic profile of an improved parcel. The photos are also hosted on the county's property search database and are extremely popular with the public. This resolution represents a solid investment for the county that keeps Franklin County at the top of the class in terms of highly reliable and cutting-edge tools to provide the best services to the public. Pending any questions or comments, we recommend approval for this resolution. Many thanks.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of. Now, I do have a question, Mr. Casey. What was the previous vendor in the contract? How did we do this before this? Is this the same entity or is this a new vendor?
Commissioner Boyce, essentially it's the same vendor. So in 2017, it was Cyclomedia Technologies. It is still Cyclomedia Technologies at this point. We had to go because there's a state or a federal government contract at this point that we were able to get onto for ease of use. We have to go through the company IT Federal Sales that I think actually holds the general contract for the GSA, but then it's in a way subcontracted or they're partnered with Cyclomedia. So it is in effect the same company that will be taking the panoramic.
Okay, I think I heard you say that in your comments. I was doing something else. Okay, all right. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 564-20.
Second.
Moved in seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 564-20 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Resolution number 565-20. Resolution authorizing a purchase agreement and a service agreement with Siemens Medical Solutions USA Incorporated for the purchase of a CT scanner, on-site training, and extended service coverage in the amount of $247,793.
Good morning, Kara Cruikshank, Director of the Franklin County Coroner's Office, representing Dr. Anahue Ortiz. The Franklin County Coroner's Office would like to authorize an agreement with Siemens Medical Solutions for the purchase of the Somatome Go Now 32 slice CT scanner for the Forensic Science Center. Additionally, this resolution will authorize an extended service agreement for a period of 5 years to begin upon the expiration of a 1-year warranty period. Utilizing this CT in the environment provides pre-autopsy information, which can influence the disposition of cases, autopsies versus external exams. This can significantly assist the distribution of resources, as well as provide much needed information where there's an objection to autopsy due to religious beliefs. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 565-20.
I'll second.
Moved in seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 565-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
All right. We will then move to the engineer, I believe. Thank you, by the way, Kara.
Thank you.
We start with a public hearing this morning with the engineer.
You are correct. So we have a public hearing. Dean, Mr. Clerk, can you please read the public hearing into the record?
Thank you. Resolution regarding a final hearing for establishing, altering, and widening of Morris Road at Babbitt Road, Plain Township and Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
My name is Cornell Robertson, Franklin County Engineer, and Commissioner O'Grady, if you like, I can describe the project a little bit as you wait to see if anyone would like to speak.
Well, please, I want you to describe it, and then we'll see if anybody else has anything.
Yes, sir. This capital improvement project is in the northeast part of the county on the line between Jefferson Township and Plain Township. It's at the intersection of Morris Road and Babbitt Road. This is a project that we get to utilize federal safety funding through ODOT to build a modern single lane roundabout. And the subsequent resolution, if approved, will include the right-of-way plan, and later I'll deliver the title sheet Mylar for you all to approve and sign. And I have it here, and again, we'll deliver it later on this afternoon if so approved. And we look forward to any questions that you all have or anyone from the audience.
All right, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this at this public hearing?
Commissioner, I am seeing.
Yes, hi.
All right, we're getting there.
I am a resident on Babbitt Road at Morse. They came out to my house
Ma'am,
and
I'm
staked
sorry.
my yard. Now, I just bought my house about
Ma'am,
in
before you
January, and this is the first
me.
time hearing about this project.
all right, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Before you speak, if you could please state your name for the record and your address.
Thank you, Dean.
If you'd like to start.
Sure. My name is Jami Vines. My address is 4830 Babbitt Road.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So they told me, they came out and they said that they not only are going to take all of the trees in the front of my house that give me all the privacy to my road, but they also want to take part of my property as well. Obviously, like I'm very against this happening. So, and I've been trying to contact, I think it's someone gave me the name. I can't remember his last name, but it was John. I've several messages for him, and I haven't got anyone to even talk to me about what they're going to do and how I can get them to not take my trees away from me. So when can I see the plan to know what's going to happen? How do I know? Or how can I keep my trees is really what I want to know.
Commissioner, if you would like for me to speak on that just a moment, I'd be happy to.
Please, go ahead.
Yes. So this capital improvement project is like many that we have, and I'm sorry to hear that Ms. Vines has frustration, but this is a project, and our process includes many opportunities to reach out to the public, some of which we've had in the past would be public involvement meetings to share with the folks in the neighborhood that we are looking to make some type of improvement, and to see if folks have questions or comments, or maybe they know about things that we may not necessarily zero right in on as we work through the design process. And so we've had those opportunities, and this is yet another opportunity to hear from folks and to reply accordingly. And this particular step in the process will begin the right-of-way acquisitions. And Ms. Vines mentioned John, and that's most likely John Maynard of our real estate department. And Mr. Maynard will have multiple interactions with Ms. Vines and other property owners as we describe more specifically at this point the impacts to the individual properties. There will be opportunity to negotiate for a right-of-way that we may need for this improvement. And so that, again, if I can emphasize, there will be multiple interactions and opportunities yet to learn about the project and the details.
So so this is simply a public hearing on this. On this issue, this is the final public hearing, though, correct?
This is the final public hearing for the right-of-way
Hello.
process to begin right-of-way acquisitions.
It's not working.
Sorry, who's trying to speak now?
Hey, my name's Todd Goldman. I'm at 8014 Morse Road. And I will tell you, this is the first time I've ever used Zoom.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bowman. Is it Bowman?
Goldman.
Mr. Goldman. And you would like to speak on the public hearing as well?
Oh, of course, yes, definitely. I'm going from a place to park 26 cars of parking down to 7 or 8. I'd like to know what possibly we can do that they're taking so much when the people at the corner, the Browns, I believe, said that she's contacted you guys multiple times. She would like to sell her property. And I think she said something in the matter of fact of $300,000, which $300,000 to me seems like that would be a low price to make other neighbors happy.
Except they're trying to take more of my property.
I was wondering if somebody could come out so we can have a talk and walk around. I'm probably the only one in the neighborhood that still has her stakes in the yard.
Yep.
And you got no explanations or no exploratives from me. But I would really like somebody to contact me in regards to this and come out and possibly meet me on site.
Absolutely. That will be a part of the process as we move through this particular stage. We will then, through John Maynard of our real estate department, reach out to each of the property owners that we expect to have impacts or right-of-way acquisition needed. And we will meet with the individual property owners on site and go through in detail what we are currently proposing.
How hard would it be to meet somebody today? And I can have 3 of the neighbors would be here, if not all 4.
Who do we have on from the prosecutor's office?
Commissioner, it looks like Paul Thies is on the call this morning.
I'm on as well, Commissioner.
Oh, hi,
Harold Anderson.
Paul. Harold and Paul, how are you?
Is it possible for you to explain the process so that everybody on the call and others in the audience could understand what we're doing today, what we're being asked to do today, and then what happens from here so that people have an understanding of what happens after today?
Thank you, Commissioner Brown.
Well, ma'am, I understand that. My thing is we've called and left messages and nobody has contacted us back.
Commissioner, or Mr. Goldman, I appreciate that. What we've got here is you've got 2 separately elected entities. We're having a public hearing today on this issue because the engineer is asking the commissioners to approve something today. And what we'd like to do is have the prosecutor explain to everybody on the call what the process is here so that everybody has an understanding of going forward what's going to happen. The engineer then can make a decision, how he'd like to handle the questions that are being presented by yourself and Mrs. Vines that you guys have brought up this morning. But it'd be helpful, I believe, for everybody on the call for the prosecutor to explain the process.
Well, I'm sorry, this is Jami Vines. I just want to ask, how are we supposed to speak on our own behalf at this public hearing before anything gets approved when we don't have any actual real information?
Well, if we can let the prosecutor talk about the process first, then we can let the engineer suggest, a process going forward.
I don't really want to know about the process that I'm going to have to go through, which I'm sure will be long and a pain. I want to know what's happening to my property and what I can do to stop this from happening to my property. So, and hopefully not getting this not approved before I know exactly what's happening would be, reasonable, I would think.
Commissioner, if I may.
Please, Harold.
So at this point in the process, there have been multiple public hearings. This resolution, if the board chooses to go forward and approve it, would allow the county engineer's office to begin the appraisal process to determine the cost and compensation associated with any takes that would be necessary to move the project forward. During that process, there's both the opportunity for formal and informal negotiations between the county engineers and affected property owners. If they're unable to conclude an agreement, then obviously that would require litigation to allow a court to determine the appropriate amount of compensation or even the necessity at that point for the take or takes.
So that was.
I do know there have been multiple public meetings. In my situation, my specific situation, I was never notified because I didn't live here when those were happening or when the people who lived here were notified, and they didn't notify me when I moved in. So this is where I'm at. This is very new. I'm just finding out about this last week, that I'm about to lose all of my privacy and a lot of my property. So I understand there's been public hearings already on this, but the problem for me is I just got this information and now you're basically saying, well, we're approving it. We're moving forward. So.
Right. So all we are being asked to approve today is the ability for the engineer to then go ahead. Well, once the public hearing is done, is the ability for the engineer to then go ahead and, if I'm not mistaken, is to then go ahead and set value and be able to continue the process. Harold, can you please explain the next steps so that the folks on the call, the affected property owners, know what the next steps are in the process, so that they understand where they are and where they can be involved in the process here.
Certainly, Commissioner, and firm engineer Robertson. The plans have already been drawn up for the improvement. Is that correct?
Yes, the plans have been nearly complete, but not 100%. And as part of these negotiations, some modifications are still incorporated into the design. Yeah. So that I would hope will give some relief to the property owners that are all out there and even online here today.
And so, commissioners, that's I just wanted that confirmation on the record because that is the underlying support for the process moving forward, which begins with kind of that informal negotiation process between the county engineer's office and the affected property owners. That can result, as County Engineer Robertson indicated, in some minor alterations to the plans and specifications, but ultimately is designed to make sure that the improvement that is bid includes just compensation for any taking of property, and that would in this instance also include trees, if it's ultimately determined necessary to take trees for the affected property owners. If the county engineer's office and the property owners are unable to agree, then a legal action would ensue in the Court of Common Pleas, where the parties represented by counsel or by themselves would be able to present evidence as to why the valuation on the property that is proposed to be taken is either insufficient or that the property itself doesn't need to be taken because it doesn't meet the legal requirements for a proper take by government.
So going forward, Mr. Robertson, Cornell, and or Harold, if you have information, how can the property owners, homeowners, property owners, how can they see the plans? How can they be involved in the process going forward? How can they, they reach out to your office, Cornell? Can your office reach out to them? Obviously, we've got some folks here who aren't pleased with the way things are headed, don't like the way that their property is going to be impacted. So, if they are interested in being involved in this process and doing what they can to, make suggestions or fighting for their property, what's the process? What can they do?
Well, Commissioner, I'd be happy to offer up my direct phone line, and I can make sure that the folks who have questions can call me, and then I can get other teammates involved as appropriate. And my direct phone line is 614-525-3043. And
that'll go directly into your office.
Yes, sir. We pride ourselves on being an agency of action. And if you all have called this office and have not received return phone calls, then I will be looking into that personally.
Thank you. Harold, can you, for the purposes of this morning's meeting, can you please explain what will happen if the commissioners vote to approve this?
So if the commissioners vote to approve this resolution this morning, the county engineer's office would be authorized to move forward with the valuation of the takes and of any necessary takes, as well as entering into negotiations with the affected property owners.
So all we're doing is moving forward with the valuation of the property. We're not, and then allowing Cornell and his team to move into negotiation. We're not doing anything other than that.
Right. It allows the engineer's office to begin that appraisal process to make the determination as to value. But I think commensurate with that is the opportunity for the engineer's office to work with the property owners as to the proper valuation of those takes. It's an iterative process that involves the property owners as well, generally.
Gotcha. And to have conversations about what exactly may or may not happen with their property.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cornell, could you give a little bit of background on how a project gets to be a project such as this to get us to this point? I think that would be helpful so people understand it just doesn't come out of the blue that a project gets to be a public benefit project.
Yes. Very good question. We take in data from a lot of different directions. Some of that data is collected by our own teammates with traffic counts and observations of roadways and intersections. We also work closely with law enforcement and collect OH1s. Those are the reports that are taken with vehicle crashes. And we look for patterns at intersections in particular for types that can be improved or made more safe by adjustments to the intersections, whether they be with the addition of turn lanes or maybe addition of a traffic signal, sometimes stop signs. And in this case, a modern roundabout we feel is the best safety improvement. We also take information in from constituents. Sometimes we receive calls about general congestion problems. We also receive calls sometimes from folks who witness particular traffic incidents that would maybe not necessarily lead to a crash, but are pointed in that direction so that if it continues, then there may be other motorists making aggressive moves and causing crashes or deficiencies in sight distance. For example, there may be something blocking sight. And so there are a lot of different factors that we take in from our own teammates and the public. And then we have a forecast. We look out into the future 5 to 10 years, and we come up with our capital improvement program. And that currently has about 60 projects, and we present that to you all on an annual basis. And it takes us a while to work around to each of these locations. We've got to assemble funding. We've got to prioritize in the order of what has the biggest impact safety-wise or improvement-wise for the particular amount of monetary investment. And then we just work through the process, and you will see a resolution later today that I have to present that would focus in on the next steps of the right-of-way acquisition, where we have negotiated with property owners, come to an agreement, and we'll present to you all the dollar amount for the particular acquisition.
Can I ask a quick question on that? Are we going to be able to see the information of, like, you said you think a roundabout is the best way to do it? Wouldn't you save about $2 million in a lot of time just sticking like 2 more stop signs and making it a 4-way stop? And couldn't we see that data on that versus the roundabout?
Sure, we can provide that engineering explanation. And sometimes it's hard to grasp, and it seems counterintuitive. Many times folks think that the stop signs are the answers, but sometimes stop signs can actually cause more of a safety concern. And so it's something that we have to look at very closely, very carefully, looking at traffic patterns and volumes from the different directions. And so I'm quite confident in our engineering lead up to this point, in that single lane roundabout is going to be the best fit for this intersection. But very good question. Thank you.
Hello. Could you repeat your number one more time, please?
614-525-3043.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. At this point, is there anyone else who would like to speak in the public hearing? All right, that was probably as much spirited debate as we've had in a public hearing in a long, long time. So we appreciate everybody's input. We trust that Engineer Robertson will be engaged in a lot of conversation with the residents and homeowners and property owners up in Jefferson Township. And at this point, I will close the public hearing. Thank you, everybody, for your input. And if the clerk could please read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 566-20, final hearing for establishing, altering, and widening of Morris Road at Babbitt Road, Plain Township and Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Make the motion now.
Please.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 566-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes. Commissioner
Brown,
Yes.
Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 566-20 has been adopted.
Okay.
Resolution number 567-20, resolution awarding contract and approving contract bond J&J Schlegel Incorporated for the 2020 to 2021 general drainage maintenance in the amount of $949,856.
Commissioners, as stated, this is a construction contract award for the annual drainage maintenance program. We had a competitive bid on July 23rd. We had 6 bids, and J&J Schlegel had the lowest and best bid. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 567-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 567-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 568-20, preliminary allocation and final encumbrance of county motor vehicle license fees, a $5 fund for the city of Grandview Heights in the amount of $110,500.
Commissioners, this is a $5 fund resolution for Grandview Heights to repave First Avenue from Cambridge Boulevard east to Ashland Avenue.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 568-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 568-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 569-20, report first at the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Olentangy River Road, County Road number 9, from Catherine's Wood Drive to Turkey Run, Sharon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $1,365.
Commissioners, this is the resolution that I referred to earlier that represents another stage in the right-of-way acquisition process that follows the right-of-way hearing that we had to begin with for my particular group of presentations. This drainage improvement is in the northwest part of the county in Sharon Township along Olentangy River Road from Catherine's Wood Drive to Turkey Run. This resolution is the first report for right-of-way acquisition. It includes 2 properties, and the appraisals were based on fair market value. Those negotiations have been completed, and the property owners are in agreement.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 569-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 569-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 570-20, resolution authorizing a settlement to AT&T for a utility damage claim due to an equipment accident involving a Franklin County Engineers Office employee in the amount of $1,290.40.
Commissioners, the Franklin County Engineers Office works very hard to avoid crashes, accidents, and property damage. However, sometimes such things in life still happen in the normal course of business. The next 3 resolutions are for such damage to property, and we've worked with the prosecutor's office on each situation. This particular resolution is for damage caused to an AT&T line while working along Bausch Road.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 570-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 570-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 571-20, resolution authorizing a settlement for a disputed property damage claim involving a Franklin County Engineer survey marker in the amount of $258.84.
Commissioners, similarly, this resolution is for damage caused to a vehicle which hit a survey marker on Elliott Road.
Okay, if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 571-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 571-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 572-20, resolution authorizing a settlement for a disputed property damage claim involving a Franklin County Engineers Office employee in the amount of $2,541.
Commissioners, a similar resolution, and this is for damage caused to a parking lot light pole at a Marathon gas station by a snowplow driver during a snow and ice event.
Okay, if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 572-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 572-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
You too, Brown.
Okay, thanks. The sheriff.
Resolution number 573-20. Resolution authorizing a mugshot system access agreement with the City of Columbus.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution before you is a no-cost agreement with the City of Columbus to allow them to access our live scan system, which is the system that handles mugshots, that will allow the City of Columbus, as well as us, to access their system to see mugshots or other images that are taken in the booking process to help with investigations throughout over time, Pending any questions, I'll ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 573-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 573-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to, sorry for the distraction. Let's move to economic development and planning.
Resolution number 574-20, review of petition to annex 0.8 acres, more or less, from Jefferson Township to the City of Gahanna, case number ANX-18-20.
Morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snapp, Assistant Director, Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 0.8 acres from Jefferson Township to the City of Gahanna. The area to be annexed includes property located at 5829 Taylor Road. That's south of Taylor Road, east of I-270, north of Tech Center Drive, and west of Taylor Station Road. Petition was filed by agent and attorney Thomas Weber. I'm not sure if he's in attendance today. On behalf of the owners Greg A. Stonerock and Paula Stonerock. 100% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Gahanna, and the city passed resolution number 018-2020 on August 4th, 2020, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved in a statement regarding incompatible land uses in the zoning buffer. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the High Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 574-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
O'Grady. Commissioner, you're muted, sir.
Sorry, somebody's making breakfast here. Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, are we all invited over to join you? We can social distance and have some
Bringing
breakfast.
it over.
Sounds good,
I'm
man.
in the office today.
He's taking a break from school, so he's breakfast. You're making enough for everybody. Commissioner Brown and Commissioner Boyce are hungry. He says he doesn't have enough time to make enough for everybody. Just for apparently he's not making any for his little sister either.
How about for his dad?
Oh, good Lord, no. He doesn't cook for me. I only cook for him. Yeah, sometimes he cooks for me. So,
Resolution 574-20 was adopted. I know that breakfast is.
Thank you.
Move on with the agenda. Thank you, Jimmy. The Department of Job and Family Services. Welcome, Vivian.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Sitting in her conservatory there with her lovely garden behind her.
Resolution number 575-20, resolution approving 2 contract extensions for on-site case management services between the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services and Ohio Health's Riverside Methodist Hospital and Grant Medical Center in the amount of $182,012.22.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. And Commissioner O'Grady, this is the advantage of Zoom meetings, is you can pick all these virtual backgrounds. So this is my virtual background for today. Per this contract, an FCD-JFS case manager will be stationed on site at both hospitals to provide timely assistance in determining patient eligibility, primarily for Medicaid, but also for other agency programs. Ohio Health will reimburse FCD-JFS for the actual full-time employee costs of an on-site case manager at each hospital, as well as part of the cost for a supervisor and clerical support for each. The cost is not to exceed $182,012.22 over the 12-month term of the extension. This is the final of two options for the 12-month extension permitted under the terms of the original contract agreement. All other terms and conditions are unchanged. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 575-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 575-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 576-20. Resolution authorizing a supplemental appropriation for the distribution of CARES Act funding in support of the Child Care Recovery and Stabilization Grant Program.
Commissioners, this would authorize a supplemental appropriation for the distribution of CARES Act funding in the amount of $8.2 million with the Public Assistance Fund in order to establish the Child Care Recovery and Stabilization Grant Initiative. That includes $6.2 million in CARES Act funds from the City of Columbus and a matching $2 million from you, Commissioners. This program, which I will detail in more detail on the following resolution, is a joint effort to provide financial assistance to eligible child care providers across the county. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 576-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Voting Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 576-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 577-20. Resolution authorizing the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services Director to enter a contract agreement with the City of Columbus Department of Education to administer the Child Care Support Grants Initiative for Franklin County child care providers impacted by the COVID-19 public health emergency.
Commissioners, child care providers have been some of the hardest hit businesses during this pandemic, facing everything from forced closures to new health and safety precautions. We are so grateful that both you and the City of Columbus recognized this issue and took action. With a combined $8.2 million in CARES Act funds, you and the city have contributed, we will be able to stand up our new Child Care Recovery and Stabilization Grant Initiative. This initiative will help child care centers and home-based family providers in targeted neighborhoods alleviate the cost of reduced teacher-child ratios, smaller classroom sizes, new sanitation protocols, and other pandemic-related expenses. To be eligible for a Child Care Recovery and Stabilization Grant, providers must have a current publicly funded child care agreement with the state of Ohio, be open and operating for at least 1 month, have been opened and serving children by September 30th of 2020, currently serving low-income families, or in other words, PFCC children, operate in one of the targeted 17 zip codes, both within the City of Columbus, as well as Grovesport, Reynoldsburg, and Whitehall. Eligible centers can request up to $24,000, and home providers can request up to $7,500. We officially launched the program last Thursday, sending direct communication to over 400 eligible providers who together serve upward of 10,000 PFCC children. We began receiving responses within minutes and are committed to working to ensure all eligible providers can access this financial opportunity. If providers have questions, they can visit jfs.franklincountyohio.gov/CC Child Care Recovery, or call our grant application hotline at 614-212-1822. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
Okay, outstanding. If there are no comments or questions, move
This
for
is
adoption.
really important. So important. I don't have any comments or questions.
Move for adoption of 577-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 577-20 has been adopted.
Thank you so much. And additional thanks to Administrator Ken Wilson for helping to steer this project. Have a great afternoon.
Great work. Great work, Vivian and team.
Thank you. Good morning, Director. We will now do sanitary engineering.
Resolution number 578-20. Resolution authorizing a contract for professional services for funding acquisition services with Amic Municipal Group, LLC, in the amount of $158,151.87. Director.
Yeah, I fixed. Thank you, Dean. Such is life in 2020. So good morning, Commissioners. Stephen Renner with the Department of Sanitary Engineering. As you know, our department on your behalf owns, operates, and maintains multiple water and sanitary sewer systems throughout Franklin County. Our department routinely needs assistance, consult, and project management regarding the funding acquisition of loans from the state of Ohio for continuous improvement of the capital assets. Furthermore, our department requires assistance to conduct income surveys consistent with the policies of the Board of Commissioners and requirements of the CDBG block program to connect to the sanitary, the individual homes to the sanitary sewers, especially with the money back in the Brown Road East area. The proposal for the request for proposal were advertised in the usual way, and our department has selected Amic Municipal Group, LLC, to perform the set of services that I mentioned, and also exhibited in Exhibit A of our scope of services for $158,151.87. I respectfully request approval of this contract with Amic Municipal Consulting Group.
Okay. If there are any questions or comments, move for adoption of 578-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 578-20 has been adopted.
Commissioners, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Purchasing Department.
Resolution number 579-20. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $3,692,748.52.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry-Balanier, Director of Purchasing. The resolution before you requests your approval of 123 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 14 out of 24 eligible POs totaling $124,272.65 are being presented for award to 3 small and emerging business enterprises, 5 women business enterprises, 1 disadvantaged business enterprise, 1 minority business enterprise, and 4 local economically disadvantaged enterprises. This represents 58% of the eligible PO volume and 92% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 579-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 579-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Okay. So that concludes the business. Clerk Lane, do we have any journalizations today? Sorry?
No, we do not, Commissioner.
Okay. So that concludes the business for August 25th of the Board of Commissioners, Franklin County. Mr. Kovac, Mr. Nicely groomed, your wife must have made you get a haircut.
Right.
Trimmed up your beard a little bit. You got anything for us today, Mr. Kovac?
I do have a couple questions, but I'm going to pursue them offline. So thank you, though.
All right. Is there any other media on the call? All right. Anything else anybody has for the good of the order today? All right. We will see everybody later. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.